everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel Data Architect Diaries. I am Naveen and today we are tackling one of the most critical performance optimization topic in Apache Spark. Okay, so if I had to pick the number one thing that separate a good Spark engineer from a great Spark engineer, it's understand join strategy. Okay, and I am talking about the difference between a job that finishes in 2 minutes versus on that 20 minutes. Okay, that is a 10 times difference. Today we are breaking down broadcast join versus shuffle join. By the end of this video, you will know exactly when to use each strategy and how to continue which one Spark picks and most importantly, and how to avoid the common mistake that blow up in production. Okay, so let's jump in. So, alright, we are divided into join strategy. That is the stuff that actually matters when you are optimizing Spark in production. No club, just pure performance tuning. Okay, let's set up a real scenario that happens every single day in a production system. Imagine you are working at a company like Amazon or Netflix, and you have got a cluster with 100 executors node. Okay, so your data is spread out across all of them. Now you need to join two data set together. Okay, here is the $1 million question: how do you efficiently join data when it is scattered across 100 different machines? Okay, so think about it practically. Let's say you have your orders like hundreds millions go 50 GB. Okay, so it's partitioned across all 100 executors. Okay, and you have your product table that is also having your 10,000 rows. Okay, that is only the 20 MB, and also it is also going for the distributed. Now let's you want to find out which product are in which order. Okay, so you need to join them, but here is the problem. First one is the order data for customer, like for an example you have the 123 customer ID. It's also be might be your executor 5. Okay, on the corresponding the product data for product, that is the 456, also might be on executor 50. So how do you bring them together? Okay, this is the fundamental distributed data problem, and Spark has to completely different strategy to solve it. Okay, the first strategy is move the small data to the big data. Okay, that is the broadcast join. Broadcast, that small tables everywhere. Okay, so broadcast means whenever you are to broadcast from small tables that you are broadcasting to each and every place. Okay, and the second stage is that the shuffle, that is everything to the match key. Okay, it also has the, if you are doing the repartition for the both tables, so matching keys ends up with the on the same executors. Okay, so each strategy has massive trade-off, and what we are here to understand today. Okay, so the wrong choice, your job goes from 2 minutes to 20 minutes. The right choice, you are be a hero. Okay, so now you have got to fundamental approach. Okay, let me lay them out before we deep dive. Okay, first one is strategy, that is the broadcast join. The idea is simple. You take a small table, let's say it's a 200 MB, and you broadcast it to every single executor in your cluster. Okay, now every executor has the complete small table in memory. Okay, so when each executor processes its local data, it can join instantly. No network traffic between executors. Okay, no shuffling and no waiting. Okay, it's a elegant, it's a fast, but only works if the small table actually fits in the memory. Okay, second strategy is that the shuffle join. Okay, that is what happens when both tables are huge. You can't broadcast a 50 GB tables to all executors. That too much network traffic. Okay, instead of Spark repartition both tables based on the join key. Okay, so all the customer ID, that is you have the customer ID like the 123. Okay, so rows from both tables ends up on the same executor, then they can be joined locally. Okay, the downside, then repartition, that shuffle is expensive. You are moving with terabytes of data across the network. Okay, writing to a disk, reading from the disk, sorting, it's a lots of work. Okay, now here is the thing, Spark does not make these decisions randomly. Okay, so there is a logic, there is a configuration, and honestly there are situations where Spark gets wrong and you have to fix it. Okay, that's what we are going to learn today. So before we jump into the mechanics, let me give you the high level mental model. Okay, Think of it like this: you are running a meeting and need to discuss something with two groups of the people. Okay, first one is the broadcast approach. The small group of 10 people travel to the big group of thousand people. Okay, they gather in a one room. Everyone join fast, efficient. Okay, second one is the shuffle approach. Okay, both groups rearrange themselves alphabetically by name. They name meet up in their pre-assigned location. But this is a more complex, more moving around, but necessary when both groups are huge. Okay, that is essentially when the happening in your Spark cluster. Okay, so with broadcast, you are saying the small table is light, send it everywhere. Let's join locally. Okay, but with the shuffle, you are saying both tables are massive. Let's coordinate so matching keys are together. Okay, so they can join. The magic is understanding when each approach is appropriate. Get it right, your job is run fast. Okay, all right, let's get into the actual mechanics of a broadcast join. This is where things get real. Okay, first, when Spark decide to broadcast a table, the first thing it does is collect that entire table from all the executor back to the driver node. The driver is the orchestrator, the coordinator of the cluster. Okay, so if your product table is 200 MB and is currently split across 10 partitions, so across different executors, Spark pulls all it back to the driver memory. Okay, now the driver has the complete table in memory, that is all 10,000 products, all their details. Okay, now come into the broadcast to all executors. Here where the network comes in, the driver send the 200 MB table to all 100 executors. This happens over the network, but because the data is small, the broadcast is actually pretty quick. We are talking about the second, not a minutes. Okay, each executor now has its own copy of the complete product table sitting in the memory. Okay, now come into the local join, that is the step 3. The now comes the beautiful part. Each executor has its partition of the order table. Okay, that we can also say 500 MB or 50 GB, and a complete copy of the product table, that is the 200 MB. Okay, it performs a local join on its partition. If it is a hash join, it's fast. It's a local, no inner executor communication. Okay. The last point is the step for return result. Okay. So each executor return is joined result directly. Okay. Let me show you in this into the code. So we have this PySpark code, okay, where we also having the two tables, that is the order table that is also having related to 50 GB of data with 100 millions of rows, okay. Second, we will also having the product table, which is also using having around 200 MB of code, okay. So when we are going to broadcast join between these table, like between the order table and the product table, that we can get into the result into this one result variable. Okay, after that we are going to show the result. Okay, so this one is also the broadcast join. Hope you have understood this one's code. So a broadcast function is your explicit signal to Spark. If you are saying, hey, I know this table is small, don't waste time estimating, just broadcast it. Okay, now we'll talk about the broadcast join performance. Okay, let's talk real number. That these are not the theoretical, these are the actual metrics from the production Spark job. Okay, let's take a scenario. If you have the large table around 50 GB of the older data, that is also having your 100 million rows with the 100 partitions. Okay, so and second, we have also a small table that is the 200 MB of the product data, that is the 10,000 rows, and we are going to the join condition as per the product IP. Okay, so take a scenario of execution time. It will take around 45 seconds, because that's how long it takes to the broadcast 200 MB and broadcast to join across 100 executors. Okay, so when to use, when your use a broadcast join when a small table is less than 2 GB. Okay, ensuring efficient memory usage on executors during processing. Okay, second, we can also for the dimension table. When you are joining between the dimension and a fact table, that time you can also use the broadcast join. Okay, Third one is the minimize input output. They are effectively for reducing network input output and broadcasting, eliminating the need to shuffle large data sets between the nodes and improving executors speed. So you have done for the broadcast join process and their its performance. Okay, now come talk about the shuffle join process. Okay, so now let's flip the script that what happens when you cannot broadcast. Okay, when both tables are huge, when you are joining a 50 GB tables with a 100 GB table, you can't broadcast a 100 GB tables. Okay, that's not a happening. Welcome to the shuffle join. This is where things get expensive. Okay, now whenever the joining process, that first come into the step one, that is the repartition both data frame by join key. Okay, Spark look at the join key. Let's say it's a customer ID. It uses a hash function on the customer ID, and the same customer ID is equal to same hash, and that is also same with the partition destination. Okay, so all the row here customer ID is equal to 1001 from the shipment table. They also get repartition to partition 15. Okay. Now all the data for the same customer ID is guaranteed to be on the same executors. Okay. Second step is come also the shuffle data across network. First one is the process, it is also write to the disk. Okay, so each executor write its data to shuffle to the local disk. Okay. Second one is the transfer over network. Data is transferred from source executors to the destination executors. Okay. Third one is the read from the disk. Destination executor read the shuffle data from the disk. Okay. Fourth one is the sort. The data is sorted and organized by the partition. So if you are shuffling 50 GB plus the 100 GB is equal to 150 GB, that you are moving 150 GB across your network, that it will also take the time for that one. Okay. So now come into the step 3, that is the local join. Once the data is co-located by the join key, each executor performs a local join. The join itself is fast, but this point we have already spent a lot of time for the shuffling. Okay. The fourth is the last point is the return the result. Let me show you in this code that how you are going to the return the result. Here we have the two tables. Okay, one is the older table that is also having the 50 GB. Second one we are also having the shipment table that is also having the 80 GB. If you are going to the join, okay, so it Spark whenever you it's so Spark check the table size, it is automatically does a shuffle join. Okay, like result is equal to the older dot join with the shipment on the on older dot ID, and we can also take the inner join here. So let's come into the result that we can also explain or show in this scenario. Okay. So whenever you run the dot explain command, it will also give you the all things like the physical plan. I have already discussed in the previous video, and okay, and it will give you the how it will point the join, sort, and other things. Okay. So now here by default Sparks create the 200 partitions after a shuffle. Okay, and you can also change from this below code. Okay, like you can also use the spark.configuration.set. Okay, like you can also use for the shuffle.partition is equal to 500. So more partition is equal to smaller partition and is equal to better paging but more overhead. Okay, so for a 150 GB shuffle, it will also give the 200 to 500 partition is usually right. Okay. So let's comparison between broadcast and the shuffle join. Okay. Let's take a scenario. For an example, you are running an e-commerce platform where you have also a one order table. Second, you have also the product table. Okay. In a order table, you have the size of the 50 GB and the 100 millions of rows. Okay, and according to the order table you have the same 100 partitions are there, and in the product table you have the size of the 200 MB of table, and the rows we are also having the 10,000 rows, and now we are in this product table we have only the one partition. Okay, so if you want to enrich your order with orders with the product details, so same join condition will be with product ID. Okay. So now in this code we are also having like we taking the orders and the product and taking the join of the broadcast join. So now if we are going to compare between the broadcast and the shuffle adjoint, it will be very fast. Okay, so like for an example, so it will also take around 2 to 3 minutes to execute it. Okay, and memory per executor, it also take only the 250 MB of memory. There is no disk spill, and there is only one way broadcast and the small data as per the network pattern. Okay, so why it is fast? So driver collect and only the 200 MB of memory with the product table, and the broadcast to all executors, that is the 20 GB of total but one time, and it also very efficient, and each executor join its older partition with the product table. Okay, so it will be fast for that one. Okay, now on the other hand, if we are go with the shuffle join, it is also taking around 18th minute. Okay, and it also take per memory GB around the 3 GB for that one. Okay, and data speed will be around 5 GB. Okay, so if we talk about the network pattern, the both tables suffer, which will also the shuffling of the data, and also it through the shuffling, it will also you go for the massive input output. Okay, so it's going for the slow. So in the last, thank you so much for watching this deep dive into broadcast versus shuffle join. Okay, so if you have made it all the way to the end, you are clearly serious about mastering Apache Spark performance, and I genuinely appreciate that. So if you are building data pipeline in production, and if you are managing Spark clusters, or if you are just trying to level up your data engineering skills, this is the channel for you. We don't do surface level tutorial here. Every video is designed to give you the deep understanding you need to make better architecture decision and debug problem faster. So whether it's a catalyst optimizer, internals, memory management, RDD versus data frame performance, we go all the way. So if this video helped you understand broadcast join better, if you learned something new about Spark optimization, or if you just appreciated the clear explanation, please hit that like button. A like takes 2 seconds and it tells YouTube that this content matters. It helps other data engineers find these videos, and honestly, it is deeply motivating for me when I see that engagement. And if you are not already subscribed to Data Architect Garage, please subscribe right now. Thank you.